Alfredo James Pacino, better known as Al Pacino, is undoubtedly an icon of our times. He's spent more than 50 years as an actor and is the face for many legendary movies including The Godfather, Scent of a Woman, Scarface, Dog Day Afternoon, Dick Tracy, and The Irishman. He is a method actor who has led a rich life and inspired generations with his talent and unique persona on screen. Pacino is also the recipient of many honors including an Academy Award and 2 Emmy Awards. Pacino is an acting legend with many fans across the world, no doubt. But even devoted fans may be unfamiliar with the most tragic moments from his life, like the loss of his mother when he was still struggling to be a full-time actor. Let's take a look at Al Pacino's life, including his ups and downs through the years. Al Pacino didn't have easy beginnings. He was born in New York in 1940 and never got to enjoy that happy, two-parent home life. His parents separated when he was just 2. He mentioned to The Guardian that his school teachers felt that he needed a father figure in his life. Pacino's household was unconventional in that he was surrounded by his mom, his sister, and his grandparents. He said that even though they weren't well off financially, he still felt lucky and got a chance to experience a life of adventure. Al Pacino was endlessly fascinated by the arts, even as a kid. As illustrated in a New Yorker piece, Pacino would often take to performing wherever he was, including on the streets. In fact, he was called the actor. When he was a struggling actor, Al Pacino didn't have a lot of money or connections, but he was adamant and resilient enough to get through the tough times. "There were times when I was young when I could have used money," he told The Guardian, explaining that had even briefly spent a few nights in a storefront. Perhaps that experience taught him to not turn to materialistic things in life. He said had simply never been keen on materialism. Al Pacino lived through loss at an early age. He was 21 and struggling to break into the acting industry when he lost his mother when she was just 43. It was a huge blow for someone who'd grown up around mostly strong maternal figures. It was something he wasn't sure how to deal with. Before he could truly comprehend the loss of his mother, Pacino lost his grandfather as well within a year. By 1962, he found himself struggling to make sense of it all. Recollecting what it felt like, Pacino said it was an incredibly difficult time for him, one of the worst periods he's ever lived through. "And I had no father," he said. "I think that was my darkest period. I felt lost." Despite what he was going through, Pacino didn't give up on his dream as he learned to navigate uncharted territory and cope with loss. He continued looking for work, getting through rejections and doing his best to try and land good roles. Al Pacino wasn't always lucky. To get into Broadway and the movies, he had to work hard and it took quite some time roughing it out before he got fruitful opportunities. Before Broadway, getting to the point where Pacino could bag roles meant milking every opportunity he got, including being a performer who didn't discriminate. He would put up plays in cafes with his peers and focus on making the most of what he had. "We passed the hat around after each performance. Somebody would drop in coins here and there. That's how we ate. And it was right in New York City. Broadway was something that didn't exist," he recollected. Al Pacino often turned to alcohol to cope. Being the method actor that he was, he found himself feeling overwhelmed after each performance and felt the need to reward himself, according to the biography Al Pacino, A Life on the Wire by Andrew Yule. In fact, he had his first drink when he was just a teen. He liked the way alcohol made him feel, but it started getting in the way of his relationships. For example, When he was in a relationship with actor Jill Clayburgh and had one of his binges, he was barely able to focus on anything around him. Clayburgh told him that she was lonesome, but he was too inebriated to hear it. Pacino wasn't able to kick his addiction for a long time and once said, "I need that drink after the show, I really need it." However, his loved ones knew this was becoming a problem. He finally acknowledged his drinking problem thanks to his friends and made a decision to get sober in 1977. "My friends finally made me realize that drinking was an addiction," he said. After each show, "I felt entitled to a reward, but now it's ice cream and Oreo cookies."